All right, so we had NVIDIA earnings this afternoon. Big moment, and turned out to be pretty much a nothing burger, which means I think the market's going to get some relief off this because I think the sell-offs were some risk, some risk off events ahead of NVIDIA earnings. So it looks like we have some selling in the after hours, but honestly, I'm going to be looking for NVIDIA to get bullish in response to this. And then the next thing I'm going to be looking is to see if we've got a short setup for on Q tomorrow. I think this thing needs to go back to about $5. Or where was it at? 6. So we're going to want to mark this up and kind of get an idea. Oh, look at that double bottom right there. We do have one right here. That's a pretty key level to be aware of. That could probably serve as a stop. That's another key level. It does look like... Let's go to a shorter time frame. This just looks like chop. Let's go to regular hours. Yeah, just chop. We'll set that for the low. Looks like we got another one right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's do the retracement here, because this might potentially turn into a it's not very clean, but I still want to see what this looks like. How about 16? Let's set that there. Looks like it needs an adjustment. I hate when things aren't perfectly level. 60-minute, 5-minute. Let's go to extended. Bearish on the TTM. Didn't mean to click that. Weekly was already bearish. Okay, we need to be mindful of support coming in kind of in this chop range. So there could be, it could find some hidden support within here. But we're already below the daily. So this is going to open. Let's remove this. Where are we at in the after hours? We're at 26. So this is where I want to set the alert for tomorrow. Let's see if I think it's pretty highly likely we break that in the morning. So we're going to open right here. Bring this down just ever so slightly. And I think we want to bring this up ever so slightly. Yeah, I definitely want to ion Q. Ion. That's goofy to say. Eli Lilly had a really, this is a really easy play that I didn't cash today because over the previous day's highs. This is something to keep in mind for a further extension. I really like this play. It's a bit tough when the first move gets so overcooked, but I imagine it actually held. Yeah, it held green EMAs all day. It came cooked down, tested the convergence, held right through. It's really strong. That was the misplay today. The one loser that we had today, uh, Workday. And this thing, like, even right here on the 65-minute, like, it's holding this bullish EMA, and it had a great earnings. And what I was hunting for is that, like, we got a nice reset on the earnings, and I was looking for, like, a give and go, move to the upside. Um, and it didn't even, like, the retracement was pretty normal, but the premium crush was so ludicrously awful. So that was just unlucky. You know, we get this give right here, like deeply oversold, while the stock is still cooking to the upside. And I just really wanted to catch, um, move to the upside. I say I really wanted it, but of course I really want all the plays to come up to work, right? I was just going for a playbook. It was a little bit weaker on the playbook, so it was a little bit smaller of a position, but the premium crush here was awful when it didn't get the follow through. Even before it started to turn over, it started to cook the premiums. I think we took a light stop on HIMS too for the same reason. And then the big winner today, we can get rid of these. You can get rid of these. Um, was a similar thing. Ended up stepping out of the way of this one early, right? Before this even started rolling over, the premium started getting a lot of crush. And just overall, they were kind of like sucking volatility out of the market today on those individual names. The greater market's still pretty high, but keep in mind this VIX, we call it the fear index, but when I think NVIDIA comes out and NVIDIA seems fine, especially when the market in my opinion, was having some selling into that, some selling into the geopolitical noise as well. I think when this earnings comes out and it's fine, it wasn't fantastic. And I think you could have some degradation of future earnings, but I see that, and so we go right back. Even though we didn't get the big bounce that I thought you could potentially get, I think we could get a further bounce from the market. So actually, what is even Bitcoin doing tonight? This just looks like it's middling. I wouldn't be surprised if this wanted to catch a bounce. Something that we played some MSTR calls that paid really well, and then we got this like massive pump into the close. So the question we want to ask tomorrow is this short covering, or does someone know something about Bitcoin? And so they're taking a huge position in MSTR. It's pretty unusual for MS, and actually we could double check if Coin made a similar move. That's what I want to look over for tomorrow. Coin just, it's just so unusual from MSTR. So it could have been a short taking a covering into the close. I lean towards not so because of the relative strength it's holding into the after hours. So we might want to look for another call position here tomorrow. See if we can catch an extension out of the hole, especially if Bitcoin wants to rally with the rest of the market. If not, if we get continued selling, we probably want to hunt for what do we want to hunt for? You don't really have a lot of key levels here. You can't really call either of these a key level because it's only one intersection, right? There's probably one here around 75. You do have like a resistance formed and then tries to break out, back tests. So that's one. It's relatively weak, but if the market continues to plunge from here, that's probably where it's going to hunt. We can also see what our fibs give us for like a fib retracement of the move. We'll do both. I'm kind of curious. There's not good alignment, but it brings us around to the 72. So it brings us to a nice consolidation on that key level. Already broke below the 0.618. But then I also want to see if this wants to form like an ABC right here. That would bring us to 81. So that would actually indicate that this is the low right here. It's kind of an odd place to find support, but the fibs do look like it's bottomed in the short term here. It is deeply oversold as well, and you're starting to form like a more bullish trend here. The 4 hour looks pretty cooked. Like that could be a bottom. Momentum is pretty exaggerated to the downside. Let's take a look at the daily. Daily just started cooking to the downside. It does not look like the 4 hour. So what we want to see is if momentum has been consistently shifting, and it has been. So the 1 hour is also getting a bit more improvement here. So yeah, that makes this MSTR. It might be smart money trying to take a position early in MSTR. You know, we took the money and ran on the calls here, and I think I want to be looking for some upside here. For NVIDIA, especially if this kind of gaps down a little bit further, I think I actually want to take a bullish position here. I really want to see if this reversal on the daily TTM, you see that into the close today, it did that. That's pretty big, because if you had gotten a second bearish candle here, I would have said, okay, this thing's probably going to plummet, especially with the weekly cooking. Remember, when the weekly transitions from bullish to bearish, it usually leads to like a 1 or 2 week trend to the downside. So we can say that we've completed the minimum of what that can be. The momentum here is a bit more than like previous fake outs, right? During this like parabolic run, it's still in a big sentiment shift, but I'm thinking bounce. I'm thinking short-term bounce before another big sell-off that gives us lower lows. So we can take a look at SPY here, kind of where we're at. Cooked below the bullish EMAs. We've seen similar chop like this, right? Big vicious. I'm looking for something like this. I think that's what I want to see. You know, I think bulls can look at NVIDIA earnings and be like, okay, fears are relieved. We got a nice like double bottom right here. Gosh, this chart is just such a mess. Let's just remove all this for a moment. And that's such great support right here. Come right into the support zone. But for now, let's get this out of here. I just want to look at the price action. So this can turn into a reversal candle for sure on the daily. We just now cooked to the downside. Let's take a look at the weekly. I mean, yeah, you haven't even come down. Tested further downside support. So you could literally have like a bullish like rest of the week or next 2 weeks. This maybe turns into a hammer before it finishes out the week, gets a small pump up, and then melts back down. I want to take a look at the 65 minute. All right, let's go to regular hours. On the extended hours, this looks like really bullish, in fact. If it gets a quick pop over tomorrow. If it doesn't get this quick pop and it kind of chops here, it'll be really bearish. But if you can get a strong bounce and at least come test like this resistance up here, we might have a short-term rally back up to like 610, which is a pretty big move, right? That's like a 17-point move to the upside. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing for that. For like the greater market, I'm gonna walk into tomorrow with a bullish bias, and then I'm gonna be looking at IonQ for a short position. With the CEO leaving, I think that's massive. The other thing, you know, what might even be better to play is SMCI. It wanted to run this morning. I believe we took a trade on that. Honestly, I've had a long night with the kiddo. Let's see. We played Amazon for a nice move. I'm pretty sure we sold that one a little too early. We got a bit more of a move there, just with I just had no confidence in the market today. Like we had a great setup on the morning. I was actually seconds away from cutting this Amazon position at break even because I hate this. I hate this. If we're in short term plays and you see them do this big chop fest, like up and down through the EMAs, zigzagging. I don't like that. I don't like holding things if they're too stagnant, especially when the setup I'm looking for is a big opening drive move, and then it just chops like that. I don't like it. I like to get out of the way, and then if we like break the pre-market highs, I would have gotten back in. Actually, that is why I got into this today. But when it gives it up and it's so weak, okay, let's get this here. Right, like this is what I was watching for when it chops it up, but then it's also still holding the pre-market support, so I didn't actually cut it. But I would say this was probably one of the more sus positions. When it gets really choppy for as long as it was, I mean, it took almost a full half hour for this thing to actually fire to the upside. So yeah, let's see here, what else do we play? We played the NVIDIA puts as a lotto. I don't really care what those do. They're probably going to be worthless. If this gaps down slightly, maybe you'd only lose a little bit. I didn't notice that the implied volatility wasn't too bad. It was like 99% when we opened that position. And then we caught the 30% on SMCI. So we actually caught more of that than I thought. We might have caught the full move to the upside. Let's take a look at this on the 65-minute and see if there's really anything interesting here. If this can turn, it is a higher low. Let's look at this on the regular hours. Actually, it looks really good. That looks really terrible. You held support though, so it might chop around a bit more. We're gonna need to keep an eye on this. I like that weekly look. I really like this. I mean, this looks beautiful. This looks like you swing it. You swing it. Where do we close today? Did we close over the 50 or 48? Yeah, we're at 51. How well did we defend 48? Like really well. Oh, we're below it though in the after hours. A quick reclaim here. What's the trigger? What do we want to look for? If we don't get an RSI divergence, what can we hunt for? Let's go to regular hours. And we might want to look at the 4-hour. Anything here that stands out? There really isn't. You can argue that this might be something here. So I'm gonna bring this down here. And I'm gonna set it as a review. Oh, while I'm doing this, actually, I better we recoded this bot. Got to make sure I start replacing all these so that that bot continues to work as intended. Did you see Apple this morning or Tesla bear flag? I played Apple, but I should have played Tesla. Yeah, I had a bullish bias on Tesla. And by the time it started to give out, like this is pretty good. You break like this level here is massive, right? Like we're breaking below the parallel channel. This thing can get so ugly. Like I think the 278 is where the fibs are targeting, but I think if you have to bounce there. Like right here, that's a do or die, or you're gonna gap fill down to 255. If we do get down to 255, it's like a really weak level, by the way. Wait a second here. There's a whole lot of support at this 275. If you break 255, you look for this, and then you probably hunt for this other gap fill. This is a decent key level here. There's some like really big moments on this key level, and it's got some solid price action out of the hole too. I actually don't like this, but we're gonna need to keep it because it's part of the gap. There's really not a lot of support underneath here. So I think, yeah, you might be feeling bad that you missed this plunge through here. It is a bear flag. But honestly, I was looking for maybe a pop because I was thinking we catch some support off this. As soon as it breaks, it is a short. For sure. I was just trading futures. Oh, we slaughtered futures today. I mean, just printed money on futures today. Like, I think it was like 9 out of 10. So that was a ton of fun. Actually, let me see how much we made today. We made some really good money today. Futures are completely sideways, by the way. I think that's really supportive of a continued bounce tomorrow, actually. So, Tesla, yeah, I mean, just futures are just really trendy. Like, market is behaving in you're kind of like out of the chop range, and all the extensions play out really well. The only thing is, like, these are a bit harder to play with, like, minis, in my opinion. But playing this trend to the downside with, micros is really easy. I mean, I trade futures literally all day. We caught this to the upside, then we caught this one to the upside as well. So we played both of these. Played this all the way to the downside. Got the rally in the early morning as well. It was really nice. I think we played this. We played this move. Reset, played this move. I think this was the loser, was looking for the bounce here, and then came and stopped at break even. I think there was two, actually, because then I think I got stopped at break even, hunting for the bounce, and then we caught this to the upside. It was really nice. But yeah, great consolidation on the key levels that we'd already had set preset headed into the day. I mean, that's a really easy day on the market. So for futures, same thing with the Qs here. Yeah, I mean, that happens. Dude, make 47K. Yeah. Tesla 2-hour bear flag. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Come up. Gets too far extended from the EMAs. Comes, tests it, back to the downside. Is that what you're talking about, or are you talking about this move? This is a lot harder to play. This roundiness, you can't really call that a bear flag. Okay, yeah. You're right talking about this. That is a bear flag, yeah. To be honest, this kind of looks like an inverse cup and handle right here. And then the plunge to the downside. First time I'm actually noticing that. Actually, it's a giant. Kind of looks like a giant inverse cup and handle right here. It doesn't have the nice round base, but what would that move be? That's 33%. And what's this move so far? 11. What would this gap fill be? 21. So I mean, If that is a really wonky cup and handle, getting to that 55 is going to be really easy. Like, really easy. Going to be watching that one. Remember, for second day continuation, you really want to see a clean break of the previous day lows. Actually, given how this is, you're going to want the break of the pre-market lows. You can take a starter position here, and then you're going to want to stop at the pre-market high. If it breaks here, stop at the pre-market high. If you get a nice RSI move, maybe a front side short, or just like an opening drive short. You said you shorted Apple. I really like shorting Apple. This is also going to be something I review in the morning. But my favorite short tomorrow is going to probably be IonQ. I don't want to hammer this one too much because we talked about this already. But the CEO leaving and they're playing games with the books. It's the only reason that they had a surprise was because of an acquisition deal. And it's just bullshit numbers. The company they bought, they didn't even report if the company makes anything at all. Who the fuck does that? I mean, that's a joke. So this is like also a pretty big key level that we're breaking. So I want to see if we clear this all the way down. We get a break of this 25 and yeah, I think this could have a really good setup in the morning for a short position. I think Tesla's going to gap down based on what this looks like. I think the monthly gave up too. It's so ugly. That's so ugly. Yeah, the pain here is really brutal. The thing is, like, I'm trying not to give up too many of the profits from last year. Obviously, in like my stocks, I made like almost 200% last year. Actually, over 200% if you catch the options traded in there. But and I've done a good job of defending so far. Like Gold's done a really good job. I aggressively sold those Kava calls. But it looks like it's just got some really nice consolidation post earnings. So we didn't come to the lows. We didn't come to the highs. That's what I really want to see. Really hard RVOL though. So very soon, maybe even this week, like if market bounces, we can catch a nice bounce here. I thought this earnings was fine. And I sold all the calls. I closed all those sold calls. And I made like really good money. All of them, 100%. Returns, they all went to zero that I sold. You see no reason to be bullish Tesla, but you have to understand that it only takes one headline for this stock to move like 30 points to the upside. And if it's this sold off, one headline can send it 50, 70. Like the further it goes down, the more likely you are to get some insane, like, look at this one candle. This is 1 month, right? In 1 month, this thing moved 130 points. So the more it sells off, the more likely you are to get blown the fuck out of the position from one headline. So it's just something you got to keep in mind. Regardless of what these technicals look like, with Elon in Trump's pocket, you know, like the armor truck deal gave it a really big pop, and that squeezed a bunch of shorts out. I believe we played that to the upside, right? That was what actually caused this pump right here. You know, one day just boom, you get the morning spike on the news, and then it just plows right through. Gives a nice continuation for several days. There's no holding through that. So just to make sure, I'm just saying that just so you don't get too overconfident. Right? There's always a reason. You just got to keep it in mind when you're creating your plans. Warren Buffett could say he wants a self-driving car. Warren Buffett has had self-driving cars probably for most of his life. They're all automated for him. You can get what I'm saying? he's He just he probably doesn't even make a call. He's just as he leaves his house, there's some dude standing there. Where would you like to go today, sir? McDonald's again? Okay. So yeah, I mean we've had a really good week so far, and I think trading's gonna get real nice and clean from here. What we don't want to see is return to chop because Nvidia chop I think is really unlikely. Especially with the way like this weekly candle is finishing. This can actually close like back over this bearish EMA cloud here. Get a nice pump in the morning. It's gonna clean up really nicely. We can actually probably set an alert over the 33. And hunt for the 36 calls. And with Tesla, we'll set an alert here just in case it gaps down, just to make sure I have the reminder in the morning. We set the IonQ alerts. We have the Kava alerts. Oh, Baba did just roll out an AI suite. This thing, I really was tempted to take some calls, but this is really pitiful given the big spike up on the news and then no continuation at all. It's just really pitiful. I'm not even sure if that's a good alert. I mean, you're getting higher lows, so yeah, if it pops there, probably gets a fall through. It's probably going to do another gap up, though. Yeah, so we'll say review for 150 swing potential on that one. And then if I also have been keeping an eye on Intel. We do already have the alert there though, so that's good. And then just kind of prepping for tomorrow. The one thing I also want to look over, because when big companies like Nvidia has earnings, a lot of other companies get overlooked, like Snow. What happened here? I haven't looked at Snow. Oh, that's a really nice pop from Snow, actually. So let's take a look here. That's really great. That's really great. I mean, ideally, you want this over the highs and you want to play like a break for the 200s. Because look at that. That's such a beautiful move. You might just want to wait for that because that's going to be your highest probability right there. So, yeah, right there. That's beautiful. That's like a beautiful gap to try and hunt out. Pretty ugly how it cooked under the day on the bullish EMA like that, but it's gonna gap like right above it. It's gonna turn out to be just a fake out because it's gonna open in the 180s. So it's gonna open, yeah, right back above it, right back into the bullish trend. Just snaps. This is gonna probably have a reversal. You've got to convince this weekly though. This weekly momentum. This is a nice Arval spike. It's pretty mediocre here. It's looking pretty good though. Yeah, I put this one on low priority for review. I love it over the 195 though. I still really like the C3 AI. That's another one to look at. Well, this looks like a nothing burger. Sold. This might be one that you want to fundamentally review because we have surprises. Still not making money. If all this company does is just set up AI for other companies, how are you not profitable? How are you not generating? What is your overhead? I've never done a full analysis of this company. This is like the stepchild of Palantir. This chart there's nothing here. It looks completely unplayable. We had Root. This is what Carvana owns. This is their big position. So to the 65-minute pop on earnings. I don't think there's an options chain here. Let me look at it real quick. Yeah, this options chain is dead. It's dead. Make it dead. Not worth looking at. Salesforce. I don't remember Salesforce's. It's like CRM. Wait, CRM. Well, what's the story here? That's a pretty big level to break. I really don't like that. Let's look at our 15-minute here. We're going to add a minimum set alert here at the bottom of the pre-market. That's a pretty big move. It's a decently big move. 30 points. 30-point range there. Do we got something closer? 182. I thought I clicked it. Yeah, let's move. Where did I see that? Yeah, let's move that here up a little bit more. It's like a sneaky key level. You gotta go back to 2020 to find that one. That's a pretty big break here, below 300 over these two previous highs. Kind of makes this look like the ugliest head and shoulders you've ever seen in your life. What is that? The Notre Dame hunchback head and shoulders? It's not there at all, to be honest. I'm just trying to think of it. I'm trying to be funny. It's not working. It just makes me sound stupid. But Marathon. Let's look at Mara. This thing's probably a bounce. A bounce from a minor? Surprised by 1,000%? Wait, what? Okay, wait, what? Okay, wait. I'm not going to do a full analysis right now. It is too late. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask AI, tell me about the Mara earnings that happened on 2/26/25. Give me all the highlights. I do not need a quote. We'll see what AI says. Okay. I guess I'll share this. you guys can't see this on from the class, so we'll just go to, I gotta be so sure I'm not sharing the wrong screen. Okay. Smashed estimates. Mine 2,400 bitcoins. They're loaning out 10,000 bitcoins. Revenue was 656 million. Wow. It cost them 28,000 for all the bitcoins they mined. Let's clarify. Let's ask it to clarify, and then let's actually click and read this. Oh, this is directly from the... Why would it send me this link? This is not on this page. Really? I might have hallucinated that. Okay, it's a single Bitcoin. I was going to say that's an insane return. Like, how did it not quadruple with freaking return on ROI like that? Okay, so each Bitcoin's costing about 28,000. That's probably way less than what people thought. Expanded its energized hash rate by... That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. That's so much energy. They purchased a wind farm? A near zero cost energy data center? Oh no, why'd you buy a wind farm? So what we're not hearing is any stupid meme coins. I would probably keep an eye on this. Where did it pop to? Was it just 13? I bet this kind of snuck under the radar. If Bitcoin wants to do a big reversal, maybe we'll say if you can kind of get over these lows. You're going to open 13, so you're going to open over that. So if you fight your way to 14, you'll be rewarded with a review. What do we got in the morning that we need to look at? Nothing. I don't care about any of these. There is a Norwegian cruise lines. I don't like trading cruise line stocks. TD Bank, I don't really care about. Then we have Archer. I still have Archer swings. We should probably review this one because I haven't really been paying attention to it. Looks really awful. We're going to want to see the same thing here that we saw with like snow. Nice quick pop right over. That's not even really my catalyst though. So I'm kind of indifferent to how this earnings turns out. I want to hear about government contracts to build drones. There's a bunch of catalysts coming up for this, so it did break a major key level at 8. And they actually, given how much downside this has, my swing calls are holding up fantastically. So, yeah. Okay. We should probably look at Dell. And then there's one other company I want to look at. Then I'll read chat comments. Dell looks like, I mean, there's a potential bull flag building here into the earnings. Any recent news? You know, I was kind of surprised that SMCI not getting delisted wouldn't be somewhat bullish for Dell because of the data centers. It's a really nice reclaim right there. What's this look like on the 65 minute? I mean, that looks pretty sturdy. It's a really nice level right here. Let's go to the regular hours, see if it still looks interesting. I mean, it looks even more interesting. Not for play. We'll just do a review. We've kind of got two earnings that have kept it in this range. Last earnings looks like it set a pretty negative expectation. So it's kind of primed nicely for a good pop if it delivers well. Yeah, it's kind of the same story as NVIDIA. Like, I think if this NVIDIA earnings had come in when this wasn't already like in a bearish trend, NVIDIA probably would have had a decent sell-off. But since they've already had like a nice bearish trend into it, it was just okay with it. The last company I want to look over is APP. Levi and Kransky announced his investigation. Oh. Wait. And Culper Research and Fuzzy Panda Research. Oh, is reverse engineering and exploiting advert data from Meta platforms. See, AppLovin actually put out a big long statement from the CEO today saying that all these allegations are false. Okay. These are pretty normal, right? You get the short reports. Some big shareholders lost a shit ton of money. He gets pissed off. He's got lawyers on payroll, and he says, "Go figure out what they're doing and give me my money back. I want my money back." They pout like a little fucking child. And sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's just the lawyers are just like, "Ooh, big payday. I'm gonna go talk to all the investors." You know, you have a motivated lawyer who's like, "I'll go talk to all the investors, and then see if I can get enough of them to rally together to do an investigation. If I get their money back, I get a huge payday. If I don't get their money back, I still get a huge payday for all the work I did." Let's see here. This can like, I mean, it got a nice bounce today. I almost played this. I called this out today. I don't think anyone took it. This was like a from the lows here when I called it out. This is, this is a really good, like, what is that, a 50-point move? These contracts, I think, went up like 300%. Bit of a bummer, but I think that's fine. Just kind of tricky to play off the lows like that because it really wasn't the cleanest setup. And it's also really not that cheap to play this. So I think like the contracts I wanted were a minimum of like $7. But this is a decent like just you take this looking for a mean revision, right? You know, it gets deeply oversold. You're so far away from even on the 15 minute. You're so far away from these bearish EMAs. It needs a back test. So you play this just looking for the back test because I mean that's almost 100-point move right there. You know, no back test back into the EMAs at all. So pretty much anytime you see that, you're looking for a mean revision. That's all that trade is. And it looks like I had a alert already set after seeing the move play out and just saying, okay, if we get a pop over that, we're probably going to get a pop over this EMA, and then we might get a nice reversal. So we'll see what the market thinks. Lawsuits are pretty standard practice after big sell-offs, so I don't think that's going to be a big market driver. That did give me insights into the short reports that were not public from the short reports, so it was good to read that. The public version of the short reports was very mediocre and very vague. So I was actually surprised that this even got the sell-off it did from the short reports. I will say that if this isn't fraud, it's like the best buying the dip opportunity ever because this is like one of the fastest growing companies on the market right now, and it's not a cheap one either, right? It was like 160 billion. Actually, I think it was like 180. Now it's 112. But this company's growth rate is absolutely insane. So like even up here when it looked like it was stupid, overvalued, like if everything is legit here, this is like buying the company at like half of its fair valuation. So I really want to keep an eye on this one. That's like such a tempting like gap fill back to the upside too. What's the weekly look like? It's kind of in no man's land right here. Do you have a key level here? Not much else. Let's go to the daily. There we got those marked up. There's a lot of noise in here. That's such a beautiful gap fill. Was that the weekly one? Oh, look at that. Came right to that weekly key level. All right. Yeah, so that's what we're watching in the morning. See how these set up in the morning? But there's a few other ones, but I think we've covered enough and we've gone long enough too. Because we're almost at an hour here. I guess I'll look at this. Like 1 for 15 split. Oh, that's not a good sign. Okay. Oh, Bigger Texas is already short. All right, let's see here. You can't see stream at all? Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so you couldn't see the Mara stuff we were reading? Yeah. I'm gonna answer that one there because it looks like he's gone. Was only off for 3 minutes. I saw Mark. Okay, all right, cool. I don't know why it went off at all. It was weird. I'm glad to hear that it wasn't off for uh, like the past 15 minutes. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's a good review, a good prep for tomorrow. So in summation, I want to watch Tesla to the downside tomorrow. I want to watch IonQ for the downside. I want to see if AppLovin has a reaction to the CEO's defense against the allegations. I want to keep a eye on MSTR because this looks like someone knows something, buying so big and kind of squeezing before Bitcoin really makes the confirmation move. This is trying to form a bottom as well. If it doesn't and it goes for the downside, it's going to be a short opportunity. And I can't really get good alignment on the fibs. But on the retracement, this is like in between some really nice fibs. So I'll probably watch this 75. Maybe it goes a little bit further and kind of tests this 72, which is fine with me because I'd probably want to be out the 75 anyways. The thing about Bitcoin is sometimes when you get these spikes like this, like with these key levels, like it'll do stuff like this. Like it'll just whip and just barely touch and get out. So every time I'm short Bitcoin, especially if I'm shorting Bitcoin on futures, if I get a nice big candle in the direction I'm looking for, I'm selling into that candle because the way that this thing, I mean, look how many times this thing will have these giant moves to the downside and just immediately reverse out of the hole because the cult's strong. The cult is very, very strong. So we're watching that. We're watching to see if Intel kind of sets up and if NVIDIA gets bullish as well. I think those are the major ones we're going to be watching based on what happened today. It'll also be worth giving a quick look over of TLT and the 10-year. 10-year needs to reclaim, get back over this wedge setup. And it probably won't get a big market reaction until you get over this previous high. We can actually set an alert there. And then for TLT, we can set an alert at the highs there. Just to make sure I don't miss these when these make these key moves. This is a pretty big breakout on TLT. And it's firing to the daily. And it's about to fire to the weekly. So that is cause to keep an eye on it here. Pretty much everyone wants yields to come down and wants a big spike here. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Now, every time I say that, I think of the company. It's ruined it for me. I don't know why this keeps pausing. I'm sorry. Wow, it's so frustrating. Maybe if I do it that way. It says it's due to network conditions. Huh. All right. Anyways. Yeah, any questions at all? It's a late class. Honestly, it wasn't supposed to be this late. But honestly, guys, we might have to push the classes back a little bit. My wife also wants to see me sometimes. And I like giving her a break for the kiddo, especially when we're in this teething phase. Teething at 3 months. And then I talk to everyone, and everyone's like, oh, you're getting it out of the way early. And I'm like, I guess. I need to just see the bright side of things. It's my lunch break, not late for me. Overnights. Yeah. All right. Well, it's almost my bedtime, so I'm going to work on this ebook just a little bit more because I want to get this out by the end of this week, and I'm very close to being done with redoing all our educational stuff. And then once I get that completed, I'm doing a new marketing campaign with socials content, and then I'm be doing more videos as well. So we got like another video coming out with more educational stuff, and that one will be over the indicators that I use, kind of breaking down and explaining all of those in a lot more detail than we have in the past. So I think that'll be good. Kind of rebuilding all the education, setting solid foundations, and kind of creating PDFs for everything for you to download, I think is the way to go. Trying to produce as much value as humanly possible. It's my goal. Anyways, y'all have a good night. Hope you learned something. Hope you found this helpful. And God bless. I see you're about to type something. I was watching. DSB gave me a 1. I'll take that as a good sign. All right. Have a good night, guys.